Recently, Donald Trump spokesperson Liz Harrington did an interview where she basically told us that, hey, Trump was the president, so he can pretty much do whatever the hell he wants, whenever the hell he wants, and nobody gets to say a thing about it. So here she is, Liz Harrington, explaining why Donald Trump can really just do anything he wants. Take a look.
The big question still does remain about why President Trump had these records there down at Mar-a-Lago in the first place. Is there anything you can tell us about that? I think that's kind of one thing that's still been out there, and people trying to understand that. At least the layperson is trying to understand that.
I think the key point here is the Presidential Records Act. Presidential. He's the president. And the fake news media is trying to pretend that he wasn't, or that he was just some, paper pusher like these bureaucrats at the National Archives. No, he's the president. He is correspondent. He had every right to keep whatever he wants and possess whatever he wanted to. And obviously, when he left the White House, he took some documents with him. It was his prerogative.
Yeah, folks, I mean, he wasn't some paper-pushing bureaucrat. He was the president. And there's a thing, I don't know if you've heard about it, called the Presidential Records Act. So clearly, because he was president and that piece of legislation has the word president in it, clearly he's allowed to do anything. Duh, people. Now, obviously, that's not the case. But that is clearly the logic that Liz Harrington is using, because he was the president and this act has the word president in the title. So clearly, I can't imagine the misfiring of the neurons happening inside of her brain that led her to that specific piece of logic she just threw out. I can't wrap my head around that level of stupidity. And I don't know if it's genuine stupidity, right? Like she's saying that because she actually believes it, or if she knows it's wrong, but she just hopes the people watching that show are dumber than she is. I am hoping it is the latter. I am hoping Liz Harrington is not actually that stupid. But I'm betting she is. So here's the thing. Obviously, we have to rebut what she says instead of just calling her a moron for 5 minutes. So let's talk about the Presidential Records Act, right? The Presidential Records Act says that the records created by and for the President of the United States become the property of the National Archives upon the time that that president leaves the office of the President of the United States. All these documents must be preserved throughout the entire presidency. All of these documents must be presented to the National Archives for proper storage and retention. They are not his. In fact, at no point are they ever technically his. And as I said, this pertains not just to documents created by the president, but documents created for the president. So if you print out a sheet of talking points that Donald Trump is going to use in a presidential address, or any president is going to use in a presidential address, and you hand it to them, that document is now covered under the Presidential Records Act. It is not the property of Donald Trump or whoever the president is at the time. It is effectively the property of the National Archives. And of course, that is what Liz Harrington did not understand, either willfully or intentionally, with the Presidential Records Act. A violation of that is, in fact, a big deal. But it may be one of the lesser of Trump's problems because they're really going after him under the Espionage Act, Section E. So even if you want to make that argument with the Presidential Records Act, which is, of course, completely false, that still doesn't address any of those espionage charges that are likely coming down the pipeline for him. So good try, Liz Harrington. Swing and a miss, right? Better luck next time. Maybe study up on law just a little bit before you go out there and make a complete fool of yourself next time. I know what a lot of you out there are thinking. You're thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if you could wear the Ring of Fire logo across your chest? Well, now you can. Just head on over to our Teespring page to find some awesome merch we're offering for our viewers. We have more designs that are going to be added in the near future, so just follow the link in the description or take a peek at the shelf of merchandise under this video. Thanks for watching.